It's a three blind mice kind of day, so don't go away. Hello everyone and welcome to Fat Guy Productions. I am Paul, coming to you as always from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, sneak peek here. There are going to be some major changes coming to our three blind mice builds, and we'll be talking and announcing about them very soon. But I just want you to know that stuff is happening, and you need to pay attention and be looking for the announcements on how we're going to change up the three blind mice. So watch for that. But today, it's a regular three blind mice invitational build where we're going to be tackling the Matchbox 33 Plymouth PC car. It's going to be a lot of fun, so let's get to work. For this three blind mice build, we're going to be using the Matchbox 33 Plymouth PC. Now, I assume that PC stands for police car, but it really doesn't matter as long as it's the Matchbox 33 Plymouth. Now, you look at this casting and you think it's filled with possibilities. I have to be honest, I really struggled to come up with an idea. I finally think I've landed on something. Never done it before. We'll see how it goes. Now, you're going to watch this and you're thinking, oh, he's up to his old tricks. He's going to forget to drill out the posts. Well, no, I'm not going to forget. I am going to take the car apart, and I'm not going to drill out the posts, but I'm doing it for a reason, and you'll see why in just a moment. With the post drilled out, I can get the car apart. Now, this car has a plastic base, which I hate with passion. It's got a whole fender piece. Of course, it has the body and glass. So right about now, I would be drilling out the posts for the screws, but I'm not going to, and why is that? I have decided to chop this car. Now, it's something I've never done on a diecast car, and we're going to try it today and see how it goes. But I need to assess how it's going to impact the rear post, because the rear post is directly attached to the roof. So I could end up drilling out the post and have to cut off all the drilled out part. So there's no point in drilling out the post now until I get the roof cut down and I can see where we're at. So the body has to take a swim in the goo, and it sits for about 3 hours before I pluck it out and all the paint is off. So I take it to the sink, give it a good wash, and I bring it back and I can start to figure things out. So I'm looking at the casting, and there's not a lot of room for me to chop this roof down. Maybe 1 or 2 millimeters. Hopefully it will make enough of a subtle effect that the car will look super awesome, you know, even with just such a small drop. I'm using a very thin piece of pinstriping tape to mark off the top and bottom cut lines. I'm trying to go right in the middle so I don't change any of the angles at the corners of the windows. I just want to remove that meat, the sustenance to the pillars right there in the middle. I want to get rid of all the fat. Okay, so I have the markings all set up with the tape. I think I know what I'm doing. I've got a diamond cutting wheel chucked up in my rotary tool, and now, hell, it's time to cut off the roof. You know, if this doesn't work out, I guess in a pinch I could make this sort of like a convertible. I don't know. Hopefully we won't come to that. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut the roof off on the top edge of the tape, and then I'll remove the lower bits of the pillars after I get the roof off. And for that, I'll just use a sanding drum on my rotary tool. Like I said, I'm literally only taking off about maybe 2 millimeters of material here, but hopefully it should look pretty nice. The sanding drum on my rotary tool is making quick work of the pillars. I'm getting them down to height, and then we can do a quick little test fit and see how it looks. You know, I actually am liking the way it looks. I think this is going to work out as long as I don't blow it. Yes, I'm going to be using JB Weld in this for the strength of it. But for right now, I just need to tack the car together. And for that, I'm going to be using my Loctite Gel Control Super Glue. And I'm just going to put a couple dabs on the middle posts, line everything up, and let it dry. Okay, so with the super glue dry, I'm mixing up some JB Weld, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reinforce every pillar from the inside. Now, I have to do this gingerly and without a lot of material because this stuff dries rock hard. It's very hard to clean up and shape back into the original body lines, and if you gob too much of it on the inside, it can impact how the window will fit. So, a light touch here. You need enough to hold it together and to fill the gaps, but not so much that it causes you more problems than it's worth. Okay, so JB Weld takes about 24 hours to fully cure. And so it's been that, and now I can get in here with my hobby knife and some files, and I can start to try to bring this back and make it look like it was original. I like to use the hobby knife as much as possible because it really is easier to slice away the dry JB Weld than to file it away. So I'm going to slice it down as much as possible, get it as close to original, and then I'll finish that up with a file and some sanding sticks. Now, this casting came with a molded in line on the roof that I guess is there to simulate like a sunroof type of thing, maybe like a vinyl thing that you can remove and open up the roof. I don't want that there. I want a solid hard top, so I'm just going to also get rid of that while I'm doing this work. When you're doing major stuff to the bodies, primer is so vital. Primer will show you where you need to focus your attention. It will bring out all the things that you can't see otherwise. So this is going to get a nice coat of primer. I'm using the Tamiya Fine Primer. I love that stuff. And then I can see what I need to focus on and get back to work again. So there's more sanding in my future, more slicing. I'm going to use my razor knife to try and bring back the door lines and get all of that back in there and try and get this all nice and smooth. Once I think I've got it, I'll put some more primer on it so I can get another look, and then I'll make a decision on what I need to do next. Now, there were some very slight little holes in my work, little tiny spots that needed filling, and for that I'm going to use my plastic putty. And I'm just going to put it on very gingerly, make sure I get it into the holes, let it dry, sand it smooth, and I should be about ready for the first layer of paint. Okay, so I'm liking how everything is looking, and I'm going to paint the entire car Tamiya X1 Gloss Black. Now, I could leave the fender piece alone because it's already black, but it's a black plastic and it's not going to match up right. So I primed it. It's going to get painted along with the body. Okay, so once I'm happy with the paint job, I'll go ahead and put that aside to dry, and then I can go ahead and start masking for the second color. So I want the top of the car to be burgundy, and I'm going to use my masking tape, and I'm just going to mask it off along one of the panel lines cast into the car. Just go all the way around it, mask the bottom half off, and then using a little bit of Vallejo acrylic paints, I'll paint the top burgundy. So everything's masked. I'm at the paint booth, and I've mixed up some Vallejo burgundy along with a little blood red, and I'm going to just mix all that up, thin it down, and I'm going to very gingerly spray the top. Now, when you're spraying with a masking job, spray away from the edge so that the spray is not aimed right in there and shooting down underneath the tape. Go very lightly and give the paint a chance to seal the edge of the tape. Light, easy strokes away from the tape edge, and you should get a nice clean line. You should know my philosophy by now. Once the airbrush is clean, I'll remove the tape. If I leave it on too long, when I pull the tape away, the edge can crack and chip. If I go too early, it's going to be stringy and gooey and probably get onto the other color. So that's not good. I've found that it takes me just the right amount of time to clean my airbrush for me to be able to then take the tape off and get a really great crisp line. So one other tip for removing tape on a second paint color. Pull the tape slowly back against itself at a very steep angle and a little bit into the new paint. This will let the tape kind of cut the edge as you remove it and help give you a nice sharp line. Okay, it came out great. I'm very happy with it. Everything looks fantastic. It's all nice and dry. So now I'm going to use some of my clear coat from Bright Vision, and I'm going to put that all over the body and the fenders and then let them dry. As much as I dislike dealing with the post while the paint is on it, I had no choice here. Anyhow, I've got everything fitted. It looks right. I've ground down the rear post. Didn't need to touch the front one because it's part of the lower part of the body. So I've cleaned up the posts. I've got them measured out right. Everything looks like it's going to fit just fine. So now I can finally drill out the post, tap it, and prep it for a screw. The best laid plans of mice and men. Total transparency and honesty here. The pictures you're going to see at the end are not accurate. They were touched up. because in these final phases of this build, I was literally putting in the last screw, screwing this car together. And what happened was, I didn't trim the glass piece down enough. So, as I tightened the base with the screw, the glass and the interior started to push against each other and popped the front A-pillars apart and broke them. I was devastated. I mean, I'm done with the car, and the video is due here in 2 days. I don't have time to go back and start this over or even to get the repair done. So I'm just letting you know, sometimes stuff goes south, and you just have to deal with it. And I will deal with it. I just couldn't do it in time for this video. So yeah, I broke the pillars, and if you want to see a picture, I'll put it on my community tab. But otherwise, I posted pictures where I fixed up the broken pillars so that you could see what the car is supposed to look like. But hey, you know, it happens. Stuff happens. And this is the first chopping of a 1/64 scale diecast. So, you know, hey, it is what it is. You know, I just had to forge ahead and move on. Anyhow, for the time being, I'm calling this one done, and I hope you like it. Well, there it is, my 33 Plymouth. I've been wanting to chop a car for some time, and we did it today. It was a lot of fun. I hope you loved it. If you did, please give this video a giant thumbs up. Click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell, especially because you need to be watching for upcoming Three Blind Mice announcements. As always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I love to hear from you guys. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for today, and I really hope you had a good time. I hope you have a great day. Until next time, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying, be good.